everyone, welcome to Keeping It Unfiltered. As you can tell by today's title, we are talking about being alone. And I feel like, if not everybody, a few people have a question about, why should you get comfortable with it? You want to be able to do things on your own. There's so many times where I see people have free time to themselves for even a couple hours and they need someone else there. No, we got to learn how to operate by ourselves, because when it does come to that time where you're in having a little panic attack, at least me, that's what I usually think about. When you're having that little panic attack and you need someone to call and there's no one to call, what are you going to do? How are you going to cheer yourself up? How are you going to distract yourself? You have to learn different types of hobbies or things that you like to do that will make you feel good. Being alone is also a sense of independency. And I feel like this kind of runs deep, because if you can't be independent, then you're going to have a time accomplishing your goals. Like, say you want to do something and you want your friend to do it because you're scared to do it alone. Now you're waiting on that friend. But if you were independent, maybe you would have been able to get a head start on starting up some type of new project, and you're waiting on your friend to start that business with you. No, you could do it yourself. I believe in you. Being alone also helps with a form of reflection. You get to evaluate yourself. You get to tweak yourself. You get to figure out the things that you don't like about yourself. I mean, you could take in part what people say about you, but if you don't want to, that's fine too. But if everybody's saying the same thing, you might want to check that out just a tiny bit. But you can pick apart those qualities about yourself that you don't like. For example, I was snappy. I would get irritated over the littlest things. I don't know why. I can't figure out, excuse me, I hate when that happens. Dang, lemons. And I kept hearing it from people dang, why you gotta be like that? Or why do you get mad so fast? I was like, what? I really don't like that about myself. So I had to figure out what the trigger was. At that time, I think I was having an issue with stress. And that was because, I was staying in the house all the time, going straight to class, and then going back to my dorm and just studying. So what I started to do is maybe go out here or there, watch a movie, actually go to the movies, because I had Netflix and all those streaming services. But it's a different experience when you get yourself out. So especially now, I try to get out and go to movies when I'm stressed out, go into a friend's house, doing things to go get some air. If you have a situation where you notice that you're very irritated, it's not a normal thing at all. I know some people feel like, oh, it's normal because this generation nowadays, oh, I'm 23, by the way. I don't know if I ever mentioned it. But this generation nowadays, they think that it's so normal to get irritated at the dumbest stuff, or just be less tolerant about certain things. And I'm not saying you have to tolerate everything, because things are going to annoy us. But being anxious or snapping or getting mad just because over the littlest things is not a normal thing to do. And honestly, you need to sit down by yourself and think about, why am I acting like this? Just saying. It can also help you appreciate yourself. And what I mean by that, you can admire yourself. Take some time out, look at yourself in the mirror, and instead of sitting there picking out all of the bad things, think about the good things that you like about yourself. That was something else that I noticed. Until I started spending a lot of time alone, didn't realize the good things about myself. I just spent a lot of time criticizing myself. It's okay to be alone, but it doesn't have to be a permanent thing. I know a lot of us eventually want to have a partner and to live with them, but I would say take advantage of the time that you are alone. I literally been in relationships, y'all. I'm not even lying, since I was 10. Even if they were petty relationships, I've always had somebody there. And it wasn't even a type thing where it was I needed somebody. It just so happened that was the case. So up until the age of 21, I was in a relationship. So during these past 2 years that I've been single, I've been learning so much about me, and it's one of the best things I could have ever done. I wish I had done it sooner. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did still take a lot of time to myself. Like, as far as school, I had my dorm to myself, my dorm room to myself. Um, I also just like to do things on my own. I like to shop a lot. I try to minimize it, but yeah, I like to do a lot of shopping. So I did activities like that by myself, like while I was in a relationship. But I did not look inside myself. So I was always looking at the surface of things that I like to do and think about the things that I didn't like about myself and how can I change them until I got out of that relationship. There's things about you that you may not like, but only you can change. So if you feel like you want to lose weight, only you can go to the gym for yourself. Being alone helps you understand your self-worth. You realize the things that you like and you don't like. And I say that because when you're with someone else, you can constantly be thinking about them. Doesn't even have to be a relationship, it could be your friends, family as well, where you're like, how can I please you or how can I make you feel better? And you forget about yourself. That's one thing that I can say that I definitely did do when I was in a relationship was lose myself. And I know that's kind of crazy that I'm literally admitting it, but I did. And I had to figure out how to get back. But the only way I could figure out more about me was that time alone that I had. That even included the grieving part. Anytime I had to grieve anything, I had to learn how to do that on my own. I feel like it was the healthiest thing to do though, because there are those times where no one's answering the phone, where your therapist is not picking up, where your mom is busy, your friends are busy, your siblings are busy, cousins, everybody is busy, and it's just you. So, what are you gonna do? And I'm gonna tell you right now, you should cry it out. Talk it out, write it out, do all of those things just in case you need that advice, but do it. But at the end of the day, that's still something that you're doing by yourself. But it's so healthy because, to be honest, even though it's upsetting that we have to go through that, and I'm not saying cry every single time by yourself, like sometimes have your friends. What I like about it is that I see myself from that upset point, and then I look at the ending and I'm cheerful and I'm happy. I like that. And I think y'all would like it too. Honestly, being alone, it really makes you stronger. You sit there and you say, I just pulled myself out of this without the help of the situation, like dealing with the people involved who hurt you. You're doing it all by yourself. It's hard. Don't get me started on them problems that we don't want to tell nobody about. And you just like, dang, like, I kind of want to tell such and such, but I really would like to deal with this myself. Do it, but in a positive way. Don't always suppress your feelings when it comes to whatever you're dealing with because you're alone. Don't distract yourself. And I know I've mentioned this before in another episode, but don't run to the alcohol or don't run to the trees. I'm going to need you to really sit there and think to yourself, how can I deal with this level headed? And the only way you're going to learn that is by being alone and trying out different things. One thing that I learned is listening to a certain artist actually helped distract me. And it was so weird because I'm like, this has nothing to do with anything. But listening to this person really helps me a lot. This kind of touches on the appreciation, but even dating yourself, y'all. It's so peaceful. And I know some people get nervous about it, but think of it like you on your lunch break at work and you sit by yourself. You can even watch a little show while you're there. Like what I do is I be watching movies on my phone. Sometimes, not all the time. Like most times I'll just eat my food. I take a picture of everything. So I'm probably going to take a picture of my food and leave it at that. If you want to take things up a notch, travel by yourself. Guys, I'm telling you, it's so much fun. Here's why. When you are alone, you do everything on your time. You eat everything that you want to eat. You make your own decisions. And that's like another part of it. You have total control over you. And I'm not saying that somebody else has control over you, like if you take them with you, because maybe y'all good at agreeing. But me personally, I like to travel in small groups because I don't like all the extra opinions. Because I know me, I'm like, I'm not boring, but I'm real chill. So spoil yourself with that vacation. And it can be literally somewhere local. I take these self care trips. So you can follow me on TikTok to see the rest of them. But my very first one was local. I did it right in the city downtown. And it was nice. I didn't even eat at the restaurant because I didn't even want to be around people, to be honest. But it was such a peace of mind. I got to sit there, think about things in regards to me, think about my goals, think about how to work on myself, how to work on my goals, think about my relationships with other people because those are things that we need to evaluate too, and we don't need other people's opinion on that. You know how they treat you. Being alone also helps boost your confidence. We all have our flaws or things that we don't like about each other. No matter how much we evaluate ourselves, it's just a certain amount of confidence that you get from being able to do things by yourself. It feels like a different form of achievement. I don't know, like a higher level or something. That's something I could say about me. Like, I take so much pride in my self care trips because they're all about me. They only have to do with me and my mind and what I want to do for me. And I'm catering to myself. And if you think about it, we don't even know how we want people to cater to us if we don't even learn how to cater to us. You need to cater to yourself first. You need to love yourself first. And being alone will help you love yourself. Because that's all you got the time to do when you are alone is to love on yourself. You may get those times where we need to lean on someone. That's fine. But just don't let it be every single day. Because eventually we're going to need to learn what we need to do for ourselves to cope with the issues ourselves. Many times we'll hear the term focus on you. And to be honest, I feel like half of the people don't even know what that means. But it literally means focus on you. Forget everybody else. Even if it's for a couple hours. I was catering myself to everyone, pouring into everyone and forgetting about myself. And you can't even pour into people. You can't help people. You can't do a lot of stuff for people if you don't got nothing inside you. How you empty and want to pour into somebody else's cup? Build yourself up and figure out what you need to do for you. And then worry about them. Checking in, cool. But we still need to sit there and look at ourselves and say, what do you need today? Did you eat? You got to worry about you too. So someone said, treat yourself the way you would want to be treated so you can't settle. Yeah, so like I touched on that. But that right there, I didn't use the word so you don't settle. That's important to keep in mind. That's why you got to sit there and spoil yourself. Someone asked, what do I like to do alone? Now, I talked about it throughout the video, like the movies. I do like going to the gym alone too because I like to have my headphones in. And if I go to the gym with somebody else, you can want to talk to me. And I don't know about y'all, but I can't run on the treadmill and talk to somebody at the same time. I run out of breath too fast. I'm already running out of breath because I'm running. And now you want me to talk to you too? Yeah, no. And during workouts, I'm cool. The only thing I could do in a group is like Zumba and things like that. And like if it's like a workout class, I can do that as well. One of the unique things though that I like to do alone is cook. But I think it's more so because I don't want nobody in my way. I love to cook alone. I just think about it like I like to watch stuff while I cook. So if I'm cooking and then you trying to talk to me, it's just too much for me. So I like to do it alone. To get comfortable with it so you can be the best you. Because no one should know you more than you know yourself. No one should love you more than you love yourself. You should not love someone more than you love yourself. I've been there before too. And I put them before me every single time. Because I couldn't think about at a point, what do I require to consider this is love? And that's like really deep, but for real. I couldn't even think of like what were my standards? What's the threshold? What do I require? What makes me feel good? You gotta know that before you even get with someone else and you require them to love you. And you gotta know that so that way you set up different standards and thresholds in your life and have certain requirements in your life. And always treat people the way you want to be treated, for sure. But treat yourself the way you want to be treated. Date yourself the way you would want to be dated. That wraps up everything for this episode of Keeping It Unfiltered. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. See you next Thursday.